EPC project costs are eligible project expenses related to the design, construction, and implementation of your EPC project. EPC project costs play a central role throughout your EPC term. Your PHA's ability to identify, document, and report EPC project costs accurately is vital to your EPC success and retention of savings. Why are EPC project costs important? Capturing eligible EPC project costs is critical to understanding your EPC's financial viability. In an EPC, your PHA finances project costs to design, construct, and implement energy and water conservation measures, ECMs. These ECMs reduce energy and water consumption, which generates savings for the PHA. When designing your EPC, your PHA must ensure the EPC can be self-financing, meaning your EPC savings will be enough to pay for EPC project costs. To do so, you must be able to identify, document, and report all anticipated EPC project costs throughout the term of your EPC. EPC project costs also impact your EPC incentive savings. Once implemented, your EPC is eligible for one or more EPC incentives. All three EPC incentives, add-on subsidy, frozen rolling base, and resident paid utility, have rules related to EPC projects that impact the amount of EPC savings your PHA can retain. Although we will not review this relationship now, more information on EPC project costs and EPC incentives can be found in other videos in this series and on the HUD Public Housing Energy Branch website. What project expenses are eligible EPC project costs? All EPC project costs are subject to HUD's review and approval. Every EPC is different, so eligible project costs will vary. However, when your EPC is approved, all approved EPC project costs related to your specific EPC will be listed on your EPC approval letter. For now, there are standard EPC project costs that are eligible to most EPCs. In an EPC, your PHA uses third-party financing, for example, a bank loan, to pay for eligible EPC development costs. The annual payments of principal and interest for this loan are eligible EPC project costs. And to clarify, EPC development costs are eligible design and construction costs directly related to your EPC. Like EPC project costs, they are subject to HUD review and approval. There may be ECMs in your EPC that need to be replaced during the term of your EPC to ensure they continue producing EPC savings. These replacement costs are an eligible project cost, within the limits specified in the EPC approval letter. Once your EPC is in place, measurement and verification, or M&V, is used to assess your annual EPC performance, including calculating and documenting your annual EPC savings. Your PHA, or the ESCO or consultant, must complete an M&V report annually and have it on file through the EPC term. Costs associated with M&V are eligible EPC project costs. Operations and maintenance, or O&M costs, may be eligible project costs if your PHA can demonstrate that the costs are unique to the new equipment. These costs must represent O&M activity over and above your PHA's routine maintenance costs, and you must get prior HUD approval as identified in your EPC approval letter. For example, carbon reduction technologies, like cogeneration, solar, and wind technologies, require specialized maintenance throughout the EPC term and would most likely require an extended service agreement. Additionally, staff training costs directly related to the maintenance and operations of new equipment are eligible EPC project costs. Resident training related to the use of new technology and equipment is also an eligible EPC project cost. Are any project expenses not eligible? As we now know, eligible EPC project costs will be listed on your EPC approval letter. So you can assume any project cost not listed is non-eligible unless a specific written request is submitted to HUD. Otherwise, some standard non-eligible EPC project costs include but are not limited to Cost for ineligible ECMs are non-eligible EPC project costs. For example, capital improvements that do not improve energy or water use efficiency or are unrelated, but necessary to implement planned ECMs as part of an EPC. An example of this could be replacing water-damaged flooring as part of installing a more water-efficient toilet. Routine maintenance is also a non-eligible EPC project because it is already included in a PHA's annual operating subsidy. Again, only maintenance costs unique to new equipment or determined to be over and beyond routine maintenance is considered eligible, with HUD's approval. Additionally, PHA employees' salaries, even if your PHA self-develops or self-manages a project, is not an eligible project expense unless specifically approved by HUD. And finally, PHA reimbursements for expenditures, for example, capital improvement or maintenance programs, that occurred before the EPC approval letter was issued are considered non-eligible EPC project costs. Let's review. EPC project costs are eligible project expenses related to the development, construction, and implementation of your EPC project. They are subject to HUD's review and approval. All approved project costs are listed in your EPC approval letter. Examples of eligible EPC project costs may include but are not limited to principal and interest payments on third-party financing for EPC development costs, replacement costs, M&V costs, O&M costs unique to EPC equipment, and staff and resident training on new EPC technology and equipment. Examples of non-eligible EPC project costs may include but are not limited to ineligible ECMs, routine maintenance, PHA employees' salaries, and PHA reimbursements for expenditures that occurred before the EPC approval letter. Thank you for your commitment to energy and water conservation. For more information on the FRB incentive and energy performance contracting, please see the other videos in this training series and the HUD Public Housing Energy Branch website. Questions or comments can be directed to PIH Energy Branch at hud.gov.